A cool story, bro. Back to the
Who
real.
won? I missed it.
Stevens, because that's our APAC girl right there. Yeah.
I have a question here.
Dev,
Stream Rift.
If taxing billionaires don't work, what will? Taxing trillionaires next.
Quickly.
Wait, what's your real opinion though? I didn't get to watch all of it.
Well, I mean, I like Stevens, and
Okay.
so I mean,
Was he
in terms
just
of
doing
like,
sloppulous answers, etc.
yeah, basically. But I mean, like in terms of like who performed better, I don't know who watches these. I mean, like, like everybody has their opinion, guys, on how media works. But like when people are doing debates and it's like 30 seconds for you, 30 seconds for you, 30 seconds for you, 30 seconds for you. I don't know. It's super boring to me. There's no back and forth. It's just like, give me your campaign talking points. So I don't know.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
Damn it.
Accountable. So it's like the violation didn't
Thomas
happen.
Massey
So that's what
tweeted
you're
out, I
saying.
spoke with McConnell for 20 minutes this morning. He said we should end the war in Iran, quit giving aid to Israel, stop spying on Americans without a warrant, and he's really sorry about how my primary turned out.
Aw, what a sweet guy.
Any of that
Offensive.
stuff. This is all. I never said what you're just saying.
Okay. We do-
He absolutely could.
we do
could have
got-
a
Okay,
case
hold
of
on.
this
We
individual.
hold on.
Here, I have a question here.
Dev,
Stream Rift.
quickly.
What?
God damn it, your shitty Miami internet, man.
Wait, people are putting Fs. Is it crashing for everybody or?
No, your stream's fine.
Oh wait, no, it ended.
Pick that event because it like predates when he
Did he
assumed office.
accidentally do
That's
that? Oh, his shit must have fucked.
Weaponization. That the government individual.
them. Wait. Do not save them. So
Maybe you should go do it.
the big boys are talking now. Go drink another episode.
I do actually have a response to give about
Okay. We actually hold on. We actually have to address something. We actually have to address something. Dev, you had a response to some of
Yes,
these things.
yes.
No. Do not save them. Wait. Do not save them. Do not save them. Wait. Do not save them. So first of all, the question was asked. So the question was asked. The question was asked.
Stop.
The question.
Oh my God.
So he complained. I didn't answer the question. So he complained. So I'm gonna finish if it kills me. He complained that before I asked my question after he derailed, that I wouldn't answer. So I answered the question. The question was, is funding someone? So the question was as follows: is funding someone who happens to be an illegal immigrant corrupt? I said no, not necessarily. That answer was true, and that answer was accurate. And I gave an example of you would acknowledge that. That notwithstanding that you're funding an illegal immigrant. But I answered the question accurately and
I feel like
honestly.
a
And now we're
victim
gonna
right
go.
now.
Now we're gonna do. So now what we're gonna do? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at your claim. Your claim was sanctuary cities are corruption havens, and your evidence of that is, well, look, they elected an illegal immigrant, and then you're like, wait, where did they do that? And then they said, oh, it happened in Iowa, and then I was like, well, is Iowa a sanctuary city? Like, no. And then I looked into it. Let me finish it. You're not. Wait, he's not getting away from this. This is his example. This is his example. We're gonna go through it. So you get debunked. This is MAGA. This is MAGA.
I didn't finish the
So this is exactly no. Let me finish my fucking thought. This is exactly what we're getting. They bring up their own example. They bring up their own example of sanctuary cities, and they say sanctuary cities allow for all of these candidates who are legal to go to office. They brought up an example. Gibbs brought up an example in Iowa. And in Iowa, it is not. It not only is it not the case that it's sanctuary city. It is against the law. It is against state law in Iowa to have a sanctuary jurisdiction. So I'm going to ask Gibbs. That it isn't true, right? That your example is furthering your point, correct?
I literally said, if you had listened, clearly didn't. I was like, and I'll give you an example of a non-sanctuary city. And then I gave the Iowa superintendent who was illegal and
You
voting
were
for
asked about
elections.
sanctuary cities. That's what you were asked about, not non-sanctuary cities.
Listen,
That's your example, right?
Both to be true.
You were asked about
Okay.
sanctuary cities, not sanctuary cities.
Look, Gibbs, just a simple thing. Just a real simple thing. Do you have an example from a sanctuary city?
Caught. Absolutely.
Nope. Sure, you got. I mean, really? Okay, sure. Any election that the legal alien voted in.
Did we ask for non-sanctuary cities, or did we ask for
Hold
sanctuary
on,
cities?
hold on. We asked you. The topic once again is fraud, and what's worse, basically, is how I understand it.
It's about corruption, actually.
And what's the corruption?
Hey, why no? It's about corruption.
Hey, listen. It's crazy is I can still do this hammered, and I would still be more coherent and more correct than you ever would be. Just like you got caught here when you tried to pass
hammered
over.
and you're incoherent.
What is the
You're
example?
incoherent.
Hold on, Gibbs. What is the example from the sanctuary cities of an illegal immigrant?
I will address that.
I just want to answer my question.
I'll give you an example. Any election that has been held where legal citizens are not to vote, that is a fraudulent election, in my opinion. And
Okay, which election was
that? Hold on. That's what you said. You just
election fraudulent. Was election fraudulent? Yes or no? Was election in 2016 and 2024 fraudulent?
Those are different things. Once again.
Wait. Did illegal immigrants vote in 2024 and 2016? Yes or no?
Yes.
Those are fraudulent votes.
Okay, you just said if an illegal immigrant votes, it's a fraudulent election. You just said that, right?
There's a difference between a federal election where it's illegal for them to vote, and then they get caught, and a local election where they're encouraged by the Democratic Party to do so.
How is legal corrupt?
Well, how is it legal?
Apparently, Connor Murphy died. Who's Connor Murphy? Did we watch a video of that guy? Oh, okay.
Okay, stop. Hold on, stop. All of you, stop. All of you, stop. Okay, I don't understand in a fundamental level. While if a locality wants to enable any voter, illegal or illegal, to vote in their local election, how that is corruption because the local citizens have decided to do this. Why is that corrupt? You could say it's wrong. You could say it shouldn't be done, and you would disagree with it. But walk me through please, how that is corruption. That's
Do
all
you
I
have
want to know.
people? Do you have people now voted in a legal system where legal citizens? Do you have people that are voted in that are going to implement policy?
Why are you asking questions? Why don't you explain?
Obviously.
Why are you asking,
Yeah,
why are you
obviously.
asking questions?
Because how normal
explain
people,
that. Wait,
remember
wait,
all the times you get lost? Give just a second. Pisco, you know how you get lost? The reason why you get lost is
not
because
lost,
you don't let
You
people
are very lost.
ask questions to check in along the way. So if
You
you
are
say, would
like-
you agree on this? Yes. Would you agree
I'm
on
scared
that?
for your
No.
health right
That's
now.
how
I'm
normal
scared you're
people
gonna
talk.
pass out how drunk you are.
I appreciate
I'm
your
not having a
okay.
conversation.
I am too.
Okay, you asked me a question. Is will someone getting elected make a policy? Yes, that's
I
obviously.
do want to rebuttal this real quick. This drug claim that keeps saying,
I don't care about the drug claim. I don't.
You admitted it. You said you were plastered.
I once again never said that.
He said he could
That's
beat you if he was plastered. That's what
I
he
will
said.
beat you. Here's what the best part about this is. Once again, I've already laid out, and Suma's laid out how this is fraud on multiple levels.
No, you have. That's the thing. That's why I asked, like, how is this corruption?
You have to save them. I got you. Hold on. Let me help you out there, so you can stop saving Pisco. And then
I'm not saving Pisco. I'm trying to understand the fundamental pillar of your argument.
Okay, cool. It's real simple. Once again, this is why I gave the example in the town. If I started importing illegal immigrants and we started voting, these people are never going to get saved. Now, what's going to happen next is we're going to have people putting policy in there that's going to benefit me exclusively and benefit the people I have under my payroll, i.e. the legal immigrants, right? Because guess what? I can pay them as a ranch owner, and that's not illegal. Guess what? So then once again, I turn around. This is a corruption at that point by the legal standards, right? But it is corruption when we start looking at the overall, because I'm impacting people not only in my county, I'm impacting people Texas-wide because of policy that goes against what federal mandate is, which is federal mandate. You need to be.
You don't like the policy,
And so
therefore
when we-
corruption. That's your analysis.
So once again, when we talk about, hold on, let me finish though. Once we get what we just talked about, what Pisco did is so dishonest. What Pisco said this whole time is very dishonest. And so take one thing out of context, like, oh, well, the person donating to said campaign,
Like,
that is
you
not
know, like-
corruption. That is not corruption. Like, I agree, that is not corruption. That would be victim. They would be the victim of the fraudulent campaign where someone who is illegal has ran for
Okay.
office,
Okay,
like the
Gibbs, I
Iowa
understand.
example. Yeah, and that's what
Deb, so
Gibbs,
Right,
Gibbs.
Pisco,
Like 20 minutes ago, I asked for evidence of sanctuary cities allowing illegals to vote in order to corruptly entrench Democrats into power. I haven't heard an example of that yet. What was the
Oakland and San Francisco both allow illegal immigrants to vote, and both of those have people I would argue that put in power because of illegal immigrants.
In federal elections, or
Do you have names of
No,
candidates that have been put into power in these places?
any candidate in those towns that are Democrat, like because
Okay,
of the
Oakland and San Francisco. Okay, that's the claim.
I mean, those are
No,
two examples.
but the question is more fundamental than what Wick asked. Wick asked the fundamental question, which is, let's even grant it. Many of these jurisdictions require you to be a green card holder, but let's just put it aside. Let's say that a jurisdiction grants, and the citizens come and say, we actually want these people to be part of electing local superintendents or whatever. We think they're part of the community. How is that corruption? That was the question that Wick asked.
Yeah,
It
and
didn't
so-
happen.
A very clean answer is the fact that it manipulates the amount of congressional representation that they get and affects the amount
it
of
does not.
votes that
I'm talking about-
California
I'm
and
talking about the lower level, too.
Hold on. Just as a matter of
Also
fact,
Texas.
just as a matter of fact, the allowing them to vote or not allowing them to vote will not change the amount of representation. That's both based on the census, and the census does not consider
is it
whether you are
corruption,
voting or not.
right?
Well, it could affect the state legislature. If you're voting at local state level, you could affect state policy, which is still millions of people. Like that is
No,
No, but the
real quick.
question-
If
the
every
question is
province
asked-
that
the
had,
question
if every province that had a sanctuary city that got 1 million Americans got an extra 20% in the provincial budget, would you consider that corruption?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Depends on the purpose.
Yeah.
Depends on the
So
purpose.
if- so let's say
it depends on how
there's-
it's implemented, and it depends on how it's implemented. But
Bring out-
again, you're
everybody's
asking more
bring
questions.
out.
You're not explaining. You're asking more questions.
I'm interrogating the
You're
thought.
just
We talked about this
you're just
before.
plain ignorant.
Hold on. I'm just trying to figure out how it's corruption. That's all. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah,
I do need to get some more super chats soon, but I'm trying to.
The Democrats' best tactic is to plead ignorance and not know what we're talking about when obvious things.
Hold on. No, it's not. That's the problem. It's not obvious to me, and that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, no, I think I'm making progress with Dev, to be honest.
Sure,
I've
go ahead.
been
You're
very
right.
pleasantly surprised about how well this.
Dev is
So,
okay.
Dev,
been
you've
questioning
got
you at every moment.
however many provinces you have up there.
We
We have,
If we
we
made
have
a
10
sanctuary
provinces
city-
and 3 territories.
Okay, great. So is that like okay? So of those 13, if you get an extra 1 million Americans to come, they're illegal. But if you get them to come anyway, your province gets double the budget. So all of your taxes are cut in half. Benefits are
Province?
doubled.
Is this guy
so the states have that-
Canadian?
the provinces and territories have that incentive. Would you think it would be fraudulent or corrupt for one of the parties to make a sanctuary city for Americans to try to get them in, so that way they could get the votes and also help secure the control over that budget?
If it turns out that all of these illegal immigrants overwhelmingly vote for one party over another, yes, that can be corruption. The issue is that I don't see this. I don't see evidence of this happening in the states.
Well, and that's fair, and that's all right. I appreciate you.
Well,
engaging with
you understand that's why
You
they're
might not
asking
agree.
for examples, right?
Everyone has been
Yes.
asking for evidence this whole fucking time. So don't act like, oh, we finally got to it.
No, let Riff
Have you
respond to that,
forgotten the
please.
conversation?
Let Riff respond to that. You
Like, I think,
understand
for
that this is
example-
why Dev and me and Pisco have been asking for examples, correct?
Right. So the premise here is that there's an unreasonable burden Pisco likes to throw. He likes to throw a ton of questions, ask for far more proof than he'll offer, and come with no good faith. What Dev just did right here in real time was I said, okay, well, let's say we're not looking at the specifics before we go hunting for specifics, especially because it makes it easier to move the goalpost if you don't button it down. Let's agree. And I gave a very on-the-nose example. I haven't proved anything. But in application, what we know is California, for example, has sanctuary cities. Demonstrably. There's no question about that. Arguably, it's a sanctuary state. I don't know. And we got to believe it's an incentive for someone to come if they're going to be protected and they're going to get benefits. So there seems to be an actual act of corruption if you're trying to incentivize illegal behavior using government funds
What is
and
the
privileges.
evidence of that? Is what you're being asked for.
I mean, it's pretty clear that whenever everybody asks, I mean, this is a selling point for the libs that I hear all the time, is that all these people just want to come to America for a better life. And if one of those ways they have better lives is they can come here legally and get incentives like government welfare, or they can get government driver's licenses.
I don't like the term corruption here. I guess it's like they're kind of sort of arguing this, but it's like what is like corruption, fraud, waste, abuse, like all these terms, they just seem to be stand-ins for like policies I don't like. And then I don't know, they just argue about how much they like or don't like them. I don't know.
Get into programs like, I don't know, trucking programs. We've seen that be kind of be on the news recently. Some have been legal, some have not. I mean, these are all examples of incentives. Now, I don't know about you, but now, hold on. I've done sales for my whole life. Now, I've done sales my whole life, right? So I guess this is anecdotal. But part of the way you get a sale is you hit them with all your incentives. And this is the same thing here, is they're selling this to these people. Now, I know you're a lawyer, but it seems to me like you should have gone back to community college and took a logic class, because this is an A to B to C kind of thing right here. And I don't know why you're exactly confused about, if I get an incentive, if I have an incentive, tell me like
senior moment or something.
Oh, yeah, senior moment. Well,
yeah, so like
that's a good one.
Damn.
This has been a thorough. So we've tried now numerous times to engage your immigration arguments in good faith. You have zero evidence.
I'm going to get right here. I'm going to get right here.
Other than
the DNC, literally, the Biden administration told the state of Virginia they cannot take illegal immigrants off the voter rolls. This happened in more than one state. So when literally the weight of the state is being used to prevent the purge of illegal voters, that seems like corruption to me.
So there's federal law that prohibits certain clearing of voter rolls, and that is as a matter of federal law.
Yeah, you're defending it right now. You're defending the right of the illegal immigrants to get voters to be able to vote.
That is a decision. What you, again, as you guys manipulate, twist, and outright lie, what you're referencing is a slew of challenges where the courts upheld the statutory commandment of Congress to limit when you can purge voter rolls, and you're saying that states being in compliance with binding law on elections is evidence of corruption. It is laughable. You have had the opportunity now to make your case about Democratic. You've had the opportunity now to make the case of Democratic corruption. You wasted all your time on these bullshit policy arguments that are not corruption. So why don't you defend the actual corruption that we're seeing in the scores of different areas, billions of dollars in the Department of Justice most specifically? So why don't you defend that? How about the slush fund? Do you support that? Is that corrupt? Yes or no?
No, it's not corrupt. It's a normal executive function. There's an expectation that they have liabilities with the chief executive officer. Let me answer you, retarded.
You've lost the whole argument. If you're going to claim that that's an ordinary executive function, which, by the way, not only is it completely not, I'm pretty sure it's like expressly forbidden that you can just spend funds however the fuck you want from Congress. Not only that, it got thrown out. Like, it didn't even, or wait, did it get thrown out or did they just abandon it? They might have just completely abandoned it because I don't think they were ever going to be able to defend that shit. So, fuck this. Come on.
If you let people answer. You sit there and you say, oh, well, people can't answer. Oh, they don't answer. So,
you just said it wasn't corrupt. Why not corrupt?
The chief executive officer of this beautiful country
gets to do whatever the fuck he wants.
There's an outstanding liability. Things like the FBI going after
God.
conservatives, people being censored and silenced, people being held without proper
with
charges,
these
all sorts
people,
of civil
bro.
liberty
Get me
violations.
the fuck out of here.
It is the most normal thing in the world to allocate funds for expected litigation losses. This is fucking normal shit.
What they're trying to tell you right now, what these MAGA dick sucks are trying to tell you right now, is that Trump being on both sides of the V, he is the plaintiff in the case, and he also controls the Department of Justice, giving a generalized fund of about $1.6 to $7 billion to be used on the people where he is in charge of where this money gets doled out of ultimately. That is not.
Doesn't the judiciary have to sign off on this? So don't we literally still
Let Peace go finish.
No. So he was.
You're making a bullshit point.
It was a collusive lawsuit in which he is operating as the plaintiff and the defendant, and he's created. Oh wait, what about that is bullshit?
What? Yeah.
He's saying there's no factions within the U.S.
So hold up. Let me answer this
dumb man.
Whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready.
You just said it was false, but
whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready. Said you made a bullshit claim.
Okay. Well, you've asked. Hold on, Peace. You've asked him a couple questions. Your first question is what is bullshit? Answer that question.
What is bullshit?
What is the bullshit?
So Trump did not make the DOJ spy on him before he was even elected as the president. So the fact that he happens to be holding the title of the president right now is at least slightly limited by the fact that when they started violating his rights in some of the most egregious ways possible, including violating the Fourth Amendment, they did that both as a sitting president and as a citizen. That's kind of fucked up. He didn't make him do that.
When did they violate Trump's Fourth Amendment? So first of all, your argument is bullshit because I'm asking you.
You're too stupid to know this. What is it?
I'm asking what the collusive. I'm asking whether or not what aspect of the collusive lawsuit was bullshit. But now let's get more specific. You said
added
Fourth Amendment. So you said Trump's Fourth Amendment rights were violated. When were they violated?
Starting no later than 2015, counselor.
Wait. What happened? What was the thing that was the violation of
Trump's
Fourth Amendment rights?
There was a FISA warrant issued on a U.S. citizen, and they did illegal wiretapping. Crossfire Hurricane. It's all
was there a warrant issued on Trump?
I have a question for you. Did he make them have to do that? Did he make them do that?
So does Trump? He didn't have a Trump. No.
Okay. So how is it collusive?
Does Trump have a Fourth Amendment?
How is he on both sides of the V?
Hold on. Peace goes asking a question. He answered yours.
Fourth Amendment interest. Does Trump have a Fourth Amendment interest in the communications of Carter Page?
So what part of a U.S. citizen and the sitting president had a wiretap on them with an unlawful warrant? This is only in the wake of
Carter Page. What's the Fourth Amendment violation?
So they
Trump have a Fourth Amendment interest in Carter Page communications.
Let me ask you a fucking question, you retarded waffle. Okay, does the FISA warrant, are those for U.S. citizens or for, and I'm going to give you a hint, the F in FISA is foreign. What is it? Are it a foreign warrant?
You don't know. It's so laughable. It applies to both. You really think that FISA only applies to non-citizens? FISA applies more broadly. But that's not the question you were asked. The question is, does Trump have a Fourth Amendment interest in
I said your claim was bullshit.
Wait, no. You said that Trump's Fourth Amendment violations were violated, and you pointed to the FISA warrants against Carter Page.
The underlying argument isn't what you're pushing at, though.
Does Trump have a Fourth Amendment interest in Carter Page's possessions communications?
Yeah, but he had a civil rights violation before he was ever even elected.
Hold on. Stop. He is asking you a question. Just say if you don't know, it's okay to say I don't know.
Well, he already gave
I'm going to say I decline to answer. Next question.
Decline to answer.
If you had an IQ as high as you think you had, if you had IQ as high as you think you could, what you could do is literally say, do you know this thing? And if I said no or I didn't, you could have walked through it. But instead of doing that, he said, do you know Carter?
You made a claim.
The thing is, he's so I don't know why Pisco agrees with this. He's so far behind in this. I don't think he realizes it. I'm pretty sure the argument that Pisco is trying to make, but he can't even build it because this guy literally doesn't know anything about what he's talking about, is that you're claiming that Trump needs to reward himself from some slush fund because his rights were violated because of this FISA warrant claim. But Trump, I don't believe, was ever the target of an actual specific FISA warrant. It was people around Trump. Some of Trump's communications might have gotten picked up as a result of that, but it wasn't Trump himself, I don't believe, that was ever targeted by that FISA, by any of the FISA warrants or whatever, right? But I don't even know if the guy's aware of it. So then the next question would be, so why would Trump be allowed to sue somebody or be allowed to have some slush fund to reward him for litigation costs when he wasn't even the target of the FISA warrants, right? Yeah.
Policy disagreements
All right, sorry,
or
it's back.
situations
We're
in which,
back.
in their
It's live.
mind, the Democratic representatives are not listening to, honestly, to the will of their voters, as though those were corrupt. And instances where they were just flatly contradicted by the facts, including when we were asking for examples on their sanctuary city corruption theory, about when that led to the kind of broader systemic corruption they were pointing to. And they were just debunked time and time again, specifically debunked on the Des Moines situation of the superintendent, specifically debunked on the rationale regarding why the lawsuit was filed in the collusive slush fund case. And in every one of these, you had nothing but deflection to matters of political disagreement regarding immigration policy. I think at one point he brought up trans policies. What the fuck does that have to do with corruption? Just absolutely nothing. Nothing to say. In James Comey, they think the James Comey indictment is above board, but they have a problem with the Letitia James civil case because they've never read the legal theory on the Letitia James case and why, notwithstanding the fact that you have a bank who doesn't really care that they were defrauded, that you can still have someone be defrauded and it not being an element contained within common law fraud as understood in New York court. But they don't know that shit. They don't know that shit because they haven't done the research. They haven't done the cases. And the people who have done the research, the conservatives that are a little bit intelligent, or at least are aware of the track record here, they all acknowledge that Trump is historically corrupt. That's why they got to bring out these bozos and no one else, these low IQ nimrods, to come and make these kind of like basically filibuster nonsense arguments, half drunk,
Low
half slurring,
IQ nimrods,
and
he
it
says.
has nothing to do with the actual obvious facts before you, which are the historic levels of corruption, abuse by this administration, and nothing even coming close from the Democrats. Thank you very much. I'm going to stay around for Collins and appreciate Wick.
Yeah, thank you. This has been a crazy debate, but here we are. Dev, go ahead.
So I do think that it's telling that we spent most of the time talking about Democrat corruption and almost no time talking about Trump corruption, when there is significantly more Trump corruption, in my opinion. One thing that we didn't get to, I'll just very briefly touch on it now, are all the pardons that Trump has handed out. So we have Jason Galané for $200 million of corruption. Joseph Schwartz, $38 million. I think these are finance guys. Lawrence Duran, $205 million of Medicare fraud. Carlos Watson, $60 million of investor fraud. Trevor Milton, $20 million of investor fraud. Todd Chrisley, $30 million bank fraud. Julie Christie, $30 million bank fraud. Devin Archer, $60 million tribal bond scheme. George Santos, $1 million multiple fraud schemes. The list goes on, and these are all people that are Trump's friends that have committed fraud. They have been found guilty of this stuff, and Trump has pardoned them. That is ridiculous. It is insane how much corruption is just pouring out of the Trump administration right now.
Thank you. For
That's
being
his
here.
pardon power.
Thank you.
Gibbs.
Really?
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been fun. Yeah, I think it's pretty clear. There's a reason, like Dev said, that we talked about Democratic fraud. It's because every time I open the door, I get slapped in the face with more Democratic fraud. It's like breathing air to these people. They're so entrenched with their degeneracy and their corruption that they can't even see what's in front of them. It's pretty obvious that's what happened. We got really in depth with it. And I mean, I really look forward to another debate by Pisco where he claims he won and then deletes the VOD because he took a huge whooping from Papa Gibbs again, because this is about the third or fourth time that's happened. If you go check it out, every time I debate him, he deletes it because he took a whooping behind a woodshed. And I'm just saying that's really the fact. Now, if you like anything I had to say, and you hated everything I had to say, you find me over as Admiral Gibbs. And thanks for having me.
Well, thank
Wait,
you.
Wait. Real quick.
Is this
I
true?
unlist all of my VODs and put them into a playlist, as is oftentimes standard.
So you're
I don't
saying
know.
he's right.
Streamers. And but to be clear, you have been featured on numerous of my most popular debate videos. And so it's just not the case that you've ever impressed anyone with your bullshit.
I got no idea whether the
just
truth
real
of the matter
quick,
here.
Pisco.
Let's give it to.
Don't delete this one just in case because we missed like half an hour of the debate when Wick
Yeah,
was gone.
I'm sorry about
Fuck
that. It
it.
wasn't half an hour.
Yeah,
Fuck
we
media.
can't. By the way, that was
Don't delete
that
my
was
VODs.
that was
The VODs are
supreme
all available.
bloviating you did while you was gone.
Okay.
You absolutely don't
My
delete
VODs
this
are all
Gibbs.
available. I don't know. I don't delete my VODs.
Fair enough.
Supreme.
Okay, great.
I want to give it. Last word to Mr. Streamrift. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thanks to everybody being here, and especially Dev. I'll close on this. You're right. We didn't spend a lot of time talking about Trump, partially because the framing of is the Trump admin as corrupt, is a corrupt policy over 4 decades is just heavily weighted in one direction. By Dev's numbers, 3 to 4 billion. I would put, even if we triple that, let's call it 10 billion. The amount of money that the DNC has been able to funnel through manipulating the congressional representation to pass laws that set the budget and move money where they want
What?
is estimated on my research around 10 to 11 trillion dollars. So when that much money is getting funneled out the door, and we have people in Congress that are 70-80% of them are voting, they're voting consistently against their voters. When their voters make it clear that there's certain policies they want illegals guilty of crimes deported. They
King.
want men out of women's
guy's a
sports.
king,
They
by the
want
way.
to see some very specific things, and they're not getting them. Voter ID is the perfect example. Probably the
Hassan tweeted out,
best
"Oh
one
my
to end
God,
on.
Abdul is cooking in this debate so hard, the gap is hard to fathom."
Uh-oh.
Thoughts?
True.
Majority of Democrats actually want voter ID, as do Republicans. The only reason it's a partisan issue is because the organizations like the DNC, which is far more corrupt than Trump, manipulate the way that American policy gets executed against the will of the people, which is the definition of corruption. And with that, I will just end again by saying thank you so much, Wick, for graciously hosting this, and Pisco, fuck you.
Oh!
Glad we all ended on a happy
Brr,
note,
brr, brr,
mostly.
brr.
Let me read some of these super chats, and we'll bring in some. And I'm gonna rapid fire these because I have to go through another site. Because
were you gonna join
unfortunately,
and
I
ask
was
a question?
disconnected enough that
I don't know.
it doesn't come up on my main site.
No,
so I have
fuck
to
these guys.
do this the old-fashioned way. $2 from Dude Man Zoo. Say ponder the orb, Wick. Okay, thanks for $2. $2 from Testicle Johnson. Pisco was
Nope. These guys what? Oh.
dishonest
Oh.
about what Streamrift said. I'm not.
Like they can't point to any specifics, by the way.
Cheers.
Just note that there's zero specifics. What was I dishonest about what streamer said?
I don't know. Testicle Johnson, super
Yeah.
chat me more money and tell me.
More Iran
$5
strikes.
from Dr. Adam, Brigadier General, to say, wonderful panel. Discount Hassan, Kami Dev, Gibbs the drunk mumbler, Wick the wicked wizard, and some random streamer. Interesting panel today. LOL.
Yeah,
Well,
if
thank
you complain, if you're
I'm not a
conservative,
commie.
that you're and you're unsatisfied with the representation on this panel, just think about what that said.
Wait, real quick. Auto cure casts like a normal cure. Like it takes ATB and it takes MP. This is nowhere near
No,
as good
it's
as I
auto.
thought it was. Right? Like if I'm curing my person, this is not free at all. This is just oh, fuck that. Fuck. I should have never
Yeah,
equipped
that
this.
shit's trash.
Shut the fuck up, you little punk bitch.
As
Can
for
you
the
just
people who are
focus on your
definitely in the
material?
space and who talk about a lot of corruption, Democrat corruption, but are unwilling to engage. What does that tell you about
You're
that?
such filth that they won't show up for you. That's what
Oh,
my
yeah,
read
yeah.
was.
I
That's the go.
personally.
And
I
Gibbs is a
personally
nice
believe-
guy.
$10.
$10.
Believe the best way to win is let the Dems talk, and
Sure.
Pisco's proving it today.
$10 from Soda Rush. Just looked up where the most fraud happens in the U.S. by states. Florida and Georgia immediately came up. California, in some stats, seems to come up as second, but the formers are first and third. Thank you for $10. $10 from Pondering Politics. Is it corrupt to receive money from fraudsters? I don't know if MAGA wants to go down that road,
Uh-oh.
considering
Yeah.
how many have given Trump money and Trump has pardoned some.
Yeah, like the reason we were trying to ask for standards of corruption is if you say, like, for example, in the Keith Ellison, that whole bullshit rabbit hole, that him being in the presence
Are
of
you
a
corrupt, yes or
fraudster
no?
shows that he
No!
was tacitly endorsing fraud, then holy fuck. I mean, we just have so much evidence.
But when the
of
nonpartisan
around
investigate-
convicted fraudsters, let
I mean,
and doing
But the
knowing so at the
nonpartisan
time.
watchdog was told them about the corruption, and then they turned it away. So when
You-
the
I mean,
nonpartisan
Again,
watchdogs,
You're gonna fail that,
non-responsive,
Steve, man.
totally non-responsive
You're
to
gonna
what
fail
I
that.
just said.
it's not
Wait,
just
hold on, hold on.
association.
Your
Hold on.
standard, if your
He was
standard
given
for
enough
corruption
proof
is
it happened,
physical
and he said, "I'm not
presence.
going to look at it."
Well, hold on. You remember he's complaining about our standards. Your standard was out just alleged. So I mean,
That's right.
I think
His
we have
opening
the-
standard
so-
was
so-
that was
alleged.
an opening standard.
so-
Yeah,
okay.
we have the
So
tougher
first
standard.
of all,
Yeah, you
no. In terms of some of our corruption examples, there have been cases regarding the corruption.
You can stack
including, by
steadfast
the way,
block? Really?
Courts that
No
have found that
shot.
the slush fund is unconstitutional, illegal. There, some of the cases that we're talking about are.
Isn't it
literally
great that we have the
pardons where there-
judiciary to
where
hold
there-
this
where there
accountable, so
have-
in case there actually was corruption, that they're holding it accountable
some
through the
of the
judiciary?
Examples, I'm contesting the claim that Gibbs just said that all of our claims are allegations. No, there have been some determinations made by.
That's not what his claim
official
was.
bodies,
He said that you start
including-
off with the
he
alleged
did just say
standard.
that.
No, he
I don't know
didn't.
if you have like some kind of like dementia or something.
I
He just
think you
said
have
all they
dementia.
have. He said,
You-
according to
you-
our
now you're
standards,
just
he
making
said,
up what I
he
said.
said, you're talking shit about our standards. He said,
You
all
said
you
in
have
your
is
opening.
allegations. So
No, that's
you
not what I
just
said,
said, so what
Who-
you
who
just
said
said
that?
was, so what you just said is you're complaining about our standards.
How
All
high?
they have is allegations. All they have is allegations. And I'm saying,
You know,
no, that's
stop,
not the case.
stop,
I need his
please go.
redealer.
You're
Okay,
opening
stop.
the-
Well, all of you stop. All of you stop. First of all, you're fighting on every single fucking $5 super chat, and fair enough, right? But second of all, and this is to Gibbs and to Streamrift, and to Streamrift specifically, are all allegations equal?
That's not. No, hold on. Rick.
So
Rick,
let me
this
answer
is
Wick.
not-
Gibbs, let me just answer Wick. Go ahead, Wick.
We
Finish
don't want
the
to go down
question.
there.
Yeah.
Of course.
Are
yeah.
all
question,
allegations
please.
equal, right? Like, are some allegations perhaps more weighty,
It's not the
more
problem.
credible
No, they're not. And let
than
me
others?
finish my
The issue is-
point.
Right.
Gibbs, hold up. Pisco's opening, he went so far during his fucking 15, 20-minute monologue that he
It was
said,
4 minutes.
if we're going off of alleged, he introduced the standard
he's
alleged at the
misunderstanding.
beginning.
That is
I know
the
exactly.
standard.
I took notes,
so
you
this is
stupid
verbatim
fuck.
what you said.
So just to be clear, I know exactly what I said.
Now you-
What I
now you're
said-
running.
What I said
If
was
you didn't
with
Gibbs,
respect
I was
to
next.
what I said was with
He said
what I said was with
stupid
respect to
fuck.
Andrew McCarthy, and what his claim was that the amount of corruption, even compared to that which is alleged. And when I said alleged there, I didn't just mean any
So you said
crazy
alleged.
person.
Got it.
I
Owned.
absolutely said alleged. As
Yeah,
alleged.
you also said the
as
standard
alleged-
was
no, no,
alleged.
As
I-
alleged. As
You also-
alleged.
That was
by
the, that's where
Yeah,
we got
yeah, I get it. I get
Okay,
it. I get it.
So this
I
is
still
no,
want to
no,
answer
I'm
my
gonna-
question.
no, stop.
Standard.
I'm gonna
$20
finish.
fight for a
I'm gonna
$5
finish.
super
So
chat.
only a bad faith piece of shit, two IQ moron like these two individuals
Yeah.
would interpret when I say that to mean
Somebody interpret
no,
that. You said the
anything that
standard
someone
is alleged.
says, including
That's-
right now, if I just
Wait,
come up with this,
get a
I think-
handle on this. Can Pisco finish his
Yeah,
sentence?
we-
Holy
we
shit.
understand-
They're hacks.
Yeah, can we
Yeah,
understand
I mean,
that
this- yeah, it's bad faith.
when
It's hack.
people, when
You
normal,
repeat
hold on,
verbatim what you
stop.
said.
I want to answer my questions. Are all allegations created equal? I think the obvious answer is no, correct?
Yeah,
Correct.
I would agree with
Correct.
that, Wick. But
Correct.
I also-
So when
also
we're
in our
talking about,
opening, I
at
didn't
least,
say
hold
the
on, stop.
standard
So when we're
verbatim was
talking about
alleged.
allegations in this context of this debate, we're going to assume that these allegations are credible allegations. I wouldn't bring up the allegation from some dude who DM'd me saying that Trump killed his dog, right?
Right.
Like just randomly,
that's-
and
what's
that
important?
I would just discount that. Like I would just
Well, that's
discount
important.
that, even though it is technically an allegation. So when we're talking about allegations, we're talking about, and we could have talked about this during debate, but no one decided to, right? Like what is good? What is a credible allegation that
I
you
made this
should
point,
take
Wick,
seriously?
and y'all cut me off. I made this point. My point was, he said verbatim. He didn't just do the little thing where he said, "Oh," in response to whatever. He also said the standard is alleged. That was his exact words.
What
right?
are you
And so-
talking about?
So yeah, listen, you go back and watch the VOD if you want. But those were his exact words, and I keyed on that. And I
What
hit
does
it
that even
multiple
mean?
times.
The standard
Now-
is alleged.
That's a good question. Maybe you should have thought about before putting your opening.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
this
no,
is the
no, no,
point.
so-
I mean, these verbatim what you said, and that's why I ran with the stupidity of why don't we just take everything Alex Jones said?
I was
Oh,
stupid
that's a bad
because
one.
you
Because it's stupid
misinterpreted.
because- No, I'm
It's
sorry.
very-
It's-
no,
Hold on,
it's
no.
very
I'm gonna
clear.
finish. I'm gonna finish now.
You
I'm gonna
drunk
finish now. I'm gonna
asshole.
finish. No, you can be mad because I caught you with your
He
misphrasing
is.
the words.
They're so
And because,
catchy.
listen, if you
They're
use
so
words
catchy.
poorly, if you use words
this is-
poorly, and you get
The
got,
This
you
is
got
such a
got-
shit
you got
show.
got
Has gone to your
you
head,
got
and
got.
you're-
Listen, you got got.
So
It's okay.
just to be clear,
we got look
Speak
we
more
we
properly.
we've
Speak more
No,
We
properly.
gotta
no,
let
no.
Wick run his show.
I may
Gibbs.
mumble, but I don't.
cannot
listen.
get a
It's
hold of
very
that,
easy to
man.
understand
Okay,
for
here we
people
go
who
again.
for people whose blood alcohol content is in a normal range.
Yeah.
It's
I
easy to
mean,
understand.
You
We said
should maybe
so
drink
the
some alcohol
claim is
because
simple.
you're
That-
missing
that
up words
the
left and right.
allegations
I
that
mean,
the
that was
allegations
crazy.
that the
If you're
that
not
the
drunk, you're
allegations
just
of
Okay.
a call.
the
That's the sad
allegations
part.
We're never gonna
Maybe
get to
you should
callers.
drink some
It's
alcohol.
very clear.
It
It's
might
very
make you
clear.
slow
I'm
down.
going to correct the. I'm going to correct
Yeah,
the
correct it
record. It's very
quickly.
clear.
You don't
It's
have
very
to correct
clear.
the record. We can just go back and
It's
watch the
very
VOD and
clear.
say it.
It is very clear to anyone with
Yeah,
a
it's very
normal
clear.
blood alcohol content
Yeah.
that when I was saying
Not
that
you,
the-
because
you
the
don't even
know what you
scale-
said. So you got the
the
drunk
scale of
amnesia
the
head,
corruption that when
Ain't that
so
a
when
bitch?
I was using the term alleged,
You
that
gotta
what I
keep
was
catching.
comparing, that
Because
what I
you
was
seem confused.
comparing, what I was comparing. So it's very clear
You see how
that
annoying
when
this
I
is
was
when
using the
you do
term,
this to other
so
people?
it
Like,
was
yeah,
very
yeah.
clear. It was
Wait, what? Oh, is he doing Collins?
very clear.
It's
It was
clear?
very
He's about
clear.
to.
Huh?
It was very clear.
Huh?
It was very clear. It was very clear when
Yeah,
I was
very
using
clear.
the term alleged. When I was using the term alleged, it was in the context of comparing the magnitude of fraud and corruption done by one side, and that even the amount
Yeah,
of
yeah,
as
yeah.
alleged as to the Bidens,
Yep,
as
gotcha.
alleged
Pisco.
in
Yep,
the
uh-huh.
formal
Yep, uh-huh.
allegations.
Yep.
You're right.
that
He's
is
right.
not close to it.
Okay,
That's right.
$10 from Pondering Politics. Trump is underwater in every major policy area in every major poll and is the most unpopular president in modern times. By his logic, Trump is entrenching himself in power over the will of the people. And I'm just going to keep going, right? $5 for
Polls are
Kalash.
worthless. There you go.
Round of applause to StreamRiff for giving the most MAGA-adjacent pandering definition of corruption while Trump does nothing he was elected to do. $10.
Yeah,
They didn't have it. They didn't even have it. Hold on. They didn't
No,
have
we
it.
are not. Hold on. I'm just going to read these because you guys cannot be trusted to shut the fuck up and give a $5 answer to a $5 super chat. You just can't. None of you. You're all children. Okay? $10 from Star Wars and Bacon. How much do we need to donate to never hear Gibbs again? Give me $1,000 and I'll kick them from the panel right now. Dude doesn't understand basic English. $1,000. That's my price. Star Wars and Bacon. You can hit me up and we can figure that out. Pondering Paul and no, hold on. Never again. $10,000. Okay. $1,000 for a year ban. How's that? Okay. Pondering Politics for $10. The census counts all persons, not just citizens. It's been adjudicated by courts in SCOTUS. The last census was performed under Trump. Wrong on all counts. Thank you for the $10.
That's law.
$5 from Alishness. Insane Republicans complain about the census while they benefit overwhelmingly from the Electoral College. Are we agreeing that
Absolutely
is
true.
corruption?
No, the Electoral College is based.
$2 from Psychor.
Oh my
Did Lil
God.
Bro just drop a racial slur?
Nah, you just die.
Didn't
I
he?
think I heard one potentially of these, whatever he said about the states, the Democratic states.
Okay,
So
I don't know.
clarification, you
I
called
have to go
Delavan
back
to
and look.
arms, right?
For what?
For Twitter memes against, the Hassan people or whatever.
Sure. What about it?
Okay, Parsec. We need the DGGL changed to the Dalaban while we're doing this. Fix it.
Well, we're doing what?
Just random, what's the word? Education. While we're educating.
Okay.
That's it. I just wanted a new change.
No shot.
No shot on what? He didn't even hurt you.
No, he is hurting me. Okay. This guy.
But just, I'll say this. If you did say a racial slur, do not do that on my show. Okay?
Yeah, I don't do them on shows. I don't know. If
Okay.
it's me. I
I
don't
don't
use it.
hear it, but people are saying that you did.
King.
I just
That's a
don't.
king right there.
Yeah, it was you, and you said shit skin. Yes,
Stain.
Okay.
Stain. A shit
No.
stain. Like when you don't wipe your ass.
you
shit
definitely
stain.
said skin. And I know my four chancellors, so I know what that
Okay.
means.
Don't do that. And if you do it
Nothing to do with
again, we're going to have a problem,
Back to
StreamRiff. And by problem, I'm going to kick you. Okay?
Oh.
$5 from Jay Shellman. Timo Andrew Wilson need more practice. Okay. $20 from C. Goach. Say, Wick, dude just said the slur multiple times. What the fuck kind of panel is this? So first of all, I don't
Whoa!
think he said it
God,
multiple
bro,
times.
you can't
I
even
didn't
say a
hear
slur
it when it
anymore.
happened, but people are saying it did. And enough people are saying it that it probably did. So do not do it again. Okay.
Uh-oh.
$10 from Natural Phenomenon. Natural Phenomenon. If importing immigrants into a state is corrupt, does that mean Greg Abbott was corrupt when he busted immigrants to blue states? If that helped
Uh-oh.
them, why did he do that?
I do just have to interrupt slightly because we are over on time. I said I think 20 minutes ago I'd leave 15. This is shame on me. However, I wish to remain married, so I will go to dinner. But been a delight, everyone. Even you, Pisco. Good night. Thanks so much. Catch you.
Thank you for being here. Bye-bye. Okay, $5 from Delay My Baby. Do you have any number you can tie to the DNC corruption to contrast against Trump? Also, are you comparing to all time versus a two-term president?
Yeah, but they didn't raise any allegations against the DNC. They literally had no allegations against the DNC. None of this. The SPLC isn't DNC. Individual politicians aren't DNC. They don't know what the DNC is. Until
I
they
mean,
said DNC.
they're
Top
estimating
five
right now,
slurs,
that's
Steve,
just
go.
The raging fraud estimates.
Really?
Like 250 to 500 billion a year. Some of the estimates I've seen. And so, like, if we're just going to credit that to the DNC, we just go back. I don't know. Since
What are you saying the
Okay,
DNC did?
sorry.
You can't even say it in like a complete sentence. The DNC did this, and now you can't even complete that sentence.
Well,
What did the DNC
the reason I can't complete this is because you've interrupted me every time I try to lay out one more step in like 10 seconds, even though you go out here and spur for like 20 minutes each time you talk. But sure, I can lay it out. Once again, they have encouraged illegal immigrants to come here. Then they've turned around and supplemented them with ideas ID and give them a substandard status where they have a gray status individuals in certain places. Some places give them legal places to vote. That's corruption. Other places they have healthcare going to these people. That is corruption. We also have examples where they have this healthcare fraud going into these NGOs and then they're funded back and paid towards Democratic candidates. That's basically
Giving healthcare
money
to illegal
laundering.
immigrants is corruption? Wait.
Yeah, that's money
Giving
laundering.
Interrupted.
You asked me about the case, and now I'm interrupting.
No, but wait, we can't itemize your list. We can't itemize your list.
Did I interrupt you when you gave 200 lists?
Yes. Hold on. No, all of you have been interrupting each other. So the answer is, did you interrupt? Yes, you did.
Except me, by the way.
Dev, you've been a good boy. Good job. You get a cookie. Okay.
Pisco can't finish a sentence, and they're. I mean, I don't think it's the same, but whatever. I'll go.
I have a big list. 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 I had a big list for sure. I started in the opening. So in the opening, I made it clear that I'm okay with us not doing everything on the list, and I'm happy to take one at a time and focus on it. But when you say, for example, when you go through your list and say illegal immigrants getting healthcare benefits from the government is corruption, I want to stop and interrogate that. And you don't want to have that.
Sure. Well, okay. Well, that's really convenient that you want to do that now. After you gish gallop the whole time, every time I try.
No, hold on. No, stop. Gibbs, no, stop. All of you, stop. No, I'm saving the content because we cannot address the claims.
Desi trying to
If
call
you
in.
keep
Man.
making
Am I?
20 claims, and every time we try to drill down on one, you say, well, what about this other claim that I made? Like, hold on, we got to get to one first. Now, Pisco can be a little hyper-autistic, or hyper-focused, I should say, and that's, again, we should probably move on after a certain point.
The interruptions are to stop rambles. That's what they're.
But you ramble the whole time. Like, what are you talking about?
Okay, but regardless, Gibbs, you still haven't answered the question.
I like top
that they
left.
paid me $10 to ask you. Does that mean if importing
Please let me
immigrants
kill
into
this before you-
states
no.
is corrupt, does that mean Greg Abbott
Oh my
was
God, we're gonna
corrupt
die.
when he busted
Oh,
immigrants?
that's a different question than what I was just asked, but sure, no. Because guess who brought them here originally?
How did he just kill you?
But you just asked a separate question about the how much billions overall was it, how far we go back. Now you're asking me about a different super.
Wait. No,
You
you
just,
just
hold
added
on.
something else.
I'm the drunk one. You're not talking.
You
You
just
don't even know what
added-
question we're asking.
You just added something. No. You just added something else. You just added something else. You said, well, because they
That
weren't
was
the
on
ones
you.
who-
Now, you asked me at the last question.
You just
and now you're
added.
asking me about this question.
You
Now
just
you're
added.
going-
You
oh my
just
God.
you just added.
We're gonna be here all night.
I'll answer you the question. Okay,
You said Abbott doesn't bear any responsibility for that because there was an initial harm done by the Democrats, right? That he doesn't. He is allowed to like sort of ship off those illegal immigrants someplace else because some initiating event. Correct? That's what you just said.
Sure.
Why is it pulling teeth to get you to fucking answer a question?
Because he thinks
you
he's
guys
getting
are so scared
Can I just
that I have like
They
these
are.
prepared.
Yep.
Okay.
They're scared.
So, but you like delay so long. Why isn't that just like obvious what you're fucking?
Because he's trying to think of what the trap is.
So the initial event.
I'm just making sure
is
you were
them-
done, so I didn't interrupt.
The initial event. The initial event is them crossing over the border, right?
I mean, that could be one of the initial events.
What is the thing that breaks the line of causality such that you attribute blame to Biden but not to Abbott?
Listen,
That's what the
listen,
question is
for
trying to
the- for
inquire.
those of
And you
us
don't
that
want
are
to
not-
answer. You're not going to
Can't
get.
answer.
Okay,
It's
forget
not
it.
even gonna
Okay,
get-
$5 for
Okay.
delay my baby.
It's crazy.
Do you have a
I
number?
mean,
you can.
it's it's crazy that I can dictate. I can't answer.
We already asked this, but I'll ask this again. Lunatic Thinker, why are we wasting time listening to PDF file worshippers miserably failing at trying to convince anyone that the Trump crypto is not corruption? Well, $5. That's a question you will have to answer for yourself. I don't know, but thank you for the $5. $5 from Firearms and Fitness. The amount of blind faith and cope on the side of Trump needs to be studied for future generations. Okay? $2 from Greg Gill. Petition to change the term to Gibbs Gallop. Okay. $5 from Alishness. Do Gibbs and Streamriff realize that they're on a debate panel? It seems like they prepared for an episode of Alex Jones with all of these conspiracies. $5 from the Skeletal Dig. If we go by dollar amount, Trump is more corrupt than every other politician in the history of the USA combined. $10 from Admiral Love. What is the point of this when the Republican side is literally incapable of tracking the arguments of the Democrat side on a basic intellectual level? $5
On
from
their
Greg-
own arguments. too.
True.
Yeah. $5 from Greg Yale. Bottom left is so smug, but all he's done is conspiracy posts and refused to provide any evidence.
That's Stream Refs. That's not me.
Yeah,
That's
the
Stream Refs.
different
That
bottom
was
left.
Stream riff.
That's Stream Refs. Don't you try it. You fucking Gibbs.
$5 from Vishy.
Shout out to
Uh,
Destiny's Kick Chat.
Ask the conservative, conservative
Destiny's
idiots
Kick Chat.
their thoughts on
Why?
Trump firing the
What'd they do?
Attorney General, Inspector General.
You know.
Okay, Trump. What is your a thought on
Gibbs,
Trump's
you mean.
firing of the inspector generals.
I am Trump. We are all Trump. No, I mean, I think that every administration should be able to enact the spoil system as they see fit. The Dems should be able to fire whoever they want to fire. The Republicans should be able to fire when they come into office. I don't feel. think that's
So
really
just
that
a
even
follow-up
controversial.
question from me
You know
on
what the
that. So
spoil
you would be
system is a
okay.
reference to? Oh.
So you would
Yeah,
be
whatever.
okay if there
I
was
do
a
know it's
bunch
a reference.
of.
What do you think it's a reference to?
That is a reference to I believe Andrew Jackson's practice of giving out positions to like members of his family and political
And how long is
supporters as opposed to people who are competent, right? And that is exactly what is like this kind of nepotism. This is a thing that we like don't want, and that's why we want like bureaucrats who know what they're doing.
Speak
That's
for
an
yourself.
If you
argument.
reference the spoil system, that's what you're invoking is something that most people
Yeah.
would think is like wrong.
Well,
He's
here's the
not
thing:
most
is it
people.
not just Andrew Jackson? It lasted for about about 100 years, and then even then, after it was gone per se, it's still basically what we do. We have people come in, you appoint people that you want in there, you fire people that aren't. This is something that's common in the practice. Now, the difference is our administrations have gotten so large that it's not the smaller organizations that were under Andrew Jackson. There's other people that can just fire half the administration and put in 1 million people. We have massive bureaucracies now, and it's not feasible to go in there. We have lifelong employees. However, I think the spoil system is still relevant.
Yeah,
in this
but you-
idea that we
you're
put
like-
people in there, and I'm okay
it
with
seems
that
like what you're
at
trying
the
to
high
do-
level.
It seems like what you're trying to do is like it basically also what you started your intro with to go back to like Tammany Hall, but like
Yeah, it is
Tammany
Tammany
Hall
Hall.
is
That's what
corrupt as
y'all are
fuck.
doing.
And if you want
Yeah,
to talk
y'all
about
are Tammany Hall. Gibbs is Tammany Hall.
if you no, but you okay, so you don't
I
you
didn't
have
say
a
you
problem
were
with
confused
You're
Tammany.
owning
about
this
that.
guy.
So you have a no.
I said
check
the
tape on
Dems are
that.
Tammany Hall.
Check-
No, we
check
don't have
the
to.
tape.
I'd be funny to
Check
get
the
that
tape
wrong
on that.
too.
Maybe you're
Yeah, go
right.
ahead.
Maybe you're right. Check the tape on that. But
Yeah.
so to be clear,
Maybe you can
you
lay off
think
the shot.
that Tammany Hall is bad, right? Tammany Hall's bad.
Yeah, Tammany Hall's bad.
Okay,
It's
and-
institutionalized corruption, just like the Democratic Party.
Okay.
Just like
But
the
at a
Republican
national
Party,
level.
right?
No, just like the
So
national.
is the
National
so
Democratic Party.
has Trump done anything corrupt that you can identify? One thing.
Trump is a populist. He's not the National Republican Party, so he's not.
No,
the
can you name
entrenched-
one thing? Is there one thing that you would say Trump is that did
Sure,
was
let's-
corrupt? I
let's
can
go
tell you.
with- let's
I can
go-
tell you
let's
things
go
that Joe
with
Biden
this.
did that I thought were corrupt.
Yeah, let's go with the slush fund. Yeah, I don't like the slush fund. It's not my favorite thing. Let's say
Okay.
that's corrupt.
Okay. $5 from
I'm
dilapidated
not
Chad.
dying downhill.
What about
Was the
pardoning all
Civil
the
War
January Sixers?
corrupt based on the
No,
gremlins?
they don't even think that was a bad thing.
Well, I actually, I'm assuming you're talking to me because I'm the only Republican, and it seems like, yeah, I would argue that once again, no, it wasn't. And it established federalism. It's a concept that Pisco doesn't seem to like, and he likes the local states to like be able to do things
Bro.
over the federal government. He's not. He's okay
You-
with
you realize that you made the
he's not
point-
doing corruption.
So you made the point that federal law is supreme, which is a true point.
Yeah,
But,
so
and
sanctuary
I
cities is
was
not
the
obeying
one-
federal
no, no.
immigration law.
No. But the whole point of the sanctuary cities policy is premised on this notion of federalism and anti-commandeering, and you're going against that when you say they don't have the right to.
Oh. So if I was to
That-
do
that
like
is the-
sanctuary city for
that's
like I don't
anti-federal.
know machine guns, would that be allowable?
Yeah,
Wait,
kind of.
machine-
There
wait,
is.
wait, but
There are.
machine gun, different
It wouldn't
gun
be
policies.
allowable.
Yes. Now machine guns are banned across the nation because
Right,
there is a
yeah,
federal
and so
hook
is-
there.
so is being here illegal.
But
Legally, that's banned across the nation.
there is a federal
It's-
hook there. But
it's uniformly
here's what you
illegal.
here's
It's
what
exactly
you
the same
can't
thing. That's why I
do.
brought that up.
Here's what you can't do. Right? You cannot commandeer state police officers to enforce federal law against their desires. Right? You can't commandeer them to
Yeah, you
enforce
can't-
your executive policies.
The executive could not step in and force the local PD or the local officials to cooperate if they went to go in to find ban guns or something. They can't do
Yeah,
that.
I mean, that's pretty crazy because that sounds similar to like, oh, we can't make this mob guy rat on his homies. That's called something.
I don't. Hold on. They have
does
a
that have to
Fifth
do with
Amendment. Of course you
That
can.
doesn't make any
Okay,
sense.
that's built into the
no sense.
Constitution that
Yeah,
you can
I
plead
mean,
the
it's
Fifth.
saying
Okay, but anyway.
I'm going crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Anyway,
the same
let's keep going because we got a lot of these. Thank you for the money, gang. But god damn. Okay.
Money gang.
$2 from Echem. Pisco. Is it Chilean or Peruvian?
Peruvian.
Okay, cool. Cruiser
I'm American,
25.
but,
This is to Dev.
That
for
explains a lot. The difference between Peruvian cocaine and Colombian cocaine is very key.
Okay.
I'm not a cocaine user, but you would know.
$5 from
done
Cruiser
cocaine?
Based on how you talk,
25.
I doubt that.
Dev, what is your key point of corruption Trump or his administration has committed, i.e., the biggest flaw?
I mean, for me, it has to be the crypto stuff, just because there's so much money that the number is astronomically huge.
Can I ask you about that? So, like, okay, so
okay.
you agree that that's like a outside the government. The government itself didn't do the crypto scheme.
No, you're wrong.
Uh,
So here's how they're involved intimately, right? So
Okay.
here's the yes, you're correct that the World Liberty Financial and the Trump meme coin, those are private enterprises. So you're correct on that. but the money that they're getting, both in both schemes, is government money, and what they're getting in response, in return for the United Arab Emirates, are like transactional deals on technology, access to American technology and deals they didn't have before. For Qatar specifically, they're now like this executive memo that treats them like NATO, that an attack on Qatar is an attack on America. So they're getting
you don't like
benefits
this
from
backing
the
our
government.
allies?
No, they're getting benefits from this administration that is newfoundly
Yes, it's using
crazy support for all these Arab and Gulf states.
the reason
So-
why, even though it
and
is
what-
private
and-
hold on, the reason why it's private
Okay, go ahead.
organizations, right, that might be collecting this money, but it's still involving the government, is because Trump is the head of the government, and he is using that as leverage to bring in money for his personal corruption. It absolutely involves the government.
That's why
So
he's
wait,
getting
wait, hold on,
billions.
hold on.
Why else would he be getting those
And
billions? Why else would
hold
he
on,
get
there's
that
more
money?
to this. There's more to this as well because Trump has directed his DOJ to stop investigating crypto frauds.
So
Yes.
wait, hold on. So hold on.
He disbanded that agency.
Two questions, real quick. So y'all basically laid out that he might be enriching himself, right? Let's just say he is, right?
No,
However,
not my. He is. We know
is
this.
enriching himself. The report was $2 billion.
Okay, hold on. Once again, now is he in direct control of his finances?
What do you mean by that? In some
No,
respects, yes.
it's usually like when you're president, you give up your stuff, so no conflict of interest.
He has
Put it in
underlings,
the trust.
but no,
Or
no,
managers,
I'm
right?
sorry. He ultimately he
Hold
signs
on,
off.
you understand- hold on. I'm just making sure that he doesn't directly
He
like
overall he's in control. He has control. He could change this as much as he wants, and so that's why, for example, he's directing. And the White House is directing certain deals, right? So one of the deals on the one that I brought up, Vulcan Technologies, on this like mineral organization that Donald Trump Jr. was involved in. He directed the Defense Department to get involved there, so he is controlling his assets. Now, he might not oversee everything down to the minute detail. He delegates for sure, but overall, the schemes are his, and he's
So
right in on
if
them.
so like hold on. So you're basically what it sounds like to me, because this is the way I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it as he's running the successful what they call a port barrel project. And if you study political science, you know what a port barrel project is. And so what we're seeing here is what he's done is he's pushed a crypto legislation agenda, which is something that I think is a good thing. Many do think it. And then they have supplementary.
He's deregulating. Wait, no, he's deregulating.
Yeah, right, because that's a good thing. If you're if you're in that
No,
economic
he's
camp.
to not
I
enforce
like
securities
deregulation.
laws, to not
Yeah,
enforce
we have
fraud
regulations.
laws.
Yeah, we have too
No,
many
he's-
regulations in this industry.
what Dev just
That's
said
a
was true.
burgeoning
Dev-
industry. I agree, but I'm saying he's pushing an agenda that wants crypto to like splurge. It wants to go boom to the moon.
How's
right?
Bitcoin done under
How is
under
rug
him?
pulling?
How
How
is
is rug
Bitcoin
pulling
is
with
up-
the meme
Bitcoin
coin helping
is up
crypto?
today, by the way, because of what Trump.
Today.
How is rug pulling his? How is doing this rug pull? This massive rug pull. You have to
How's a rug
acknowledge
pull?
it was a
How's
rug
a rug
pull. You don't think it was a rug pull?
Making money. I don't think it was a rug pull.
This is what I mean
I'm-
about like you guys
That's
get
crazy.
stuck on $5 super chats. That was a $5 super.
Well, just real quick, Gibbs, you've seen this,
I got
right?
10 minutes. Then I gotta
Here,
go to the
here.
show.
The Binance founder who was pardoned by Trump holds 87% of Trump's stablecoin. How is
Okay.
this not
King.
some kind of
That's good business.
quid pro quo?
Sure. Let me ask you this: how many if you this would be surprising, but I am somewhat familiar with.
What, you
crypto.
can't like a
This seems
stable
to be
coin
like
anymore?
not crypto in general is crypto like seems to have most of these coins are held by like a exclusive high large group, and they'll release it in like amounts over time. Now part of
That's
the
not what
appeal-
Dev is telling you right now.
Right,
So
okay.
that's not the
I
point that Dev is
understand what
pointing
he's
to.
telling me.
Dev
I
is
mean,
pointing
you're not really
to
making
no.
the point that I
Dev
was
is pointing to the
making.
fact. No,
All right,
you're
go
not
ahead, I'll
addressing
wait.
what Dev is saying. It's a
Oh, you don't know what I'm
filibuster.
addressing because I haven't finished.
No, because I can hear what you're saying.
I
It's
will
not
read the
addressing
top
Dev's point.
line.
You're a
I
mind
will-
reader.
I-
We
I
have
will-
Professor Xavier over here, boys. He can read
I-
minds.
I will read the top line for you, okay? Binance holds about 87% of USD1, the stablecoin issued by a Trump family crypto venture, a greater concentration than any other major stablecoin has at a single exchange, underscoring the depth of the financial relationship between Binance, whose founder Trump pardoned in October, and World Liberty Financial, which already has a so listen, Trump pardons this guy.
UAE
This guy's making tons of money off of Trump crypto. Is there not some corruption happening here?
Oh, wait, and pause. One
Yeah, I
additional
don't
factor:
see
the
the
UAE specifically lobbied for his pardoning as well because they want to bring a Binance to the UAE. It's all
Listen,
there.
Pardoning is supposed to be a tool that helps
Come
heal
on,
America.
bro.
If
We
this
can't do
gives us an
corruption.
advantage in crypto. How is this any different than Operation Paperclip? And I think that might be a bunch of shit fraudster.
Okay,
and we
okay,
can
I'm
all-
gonna keep going. $2 from Greg Gill.
That's crazy what you just said.
$2 from Greg Gill.
Hold on, does rocketry help us get to the moon?
Okay, this is just okay. Greg
Are
Gill.
these coins going to the moon, or are they getting dumped?
Hey, I don't know. We'll see.
$2 from Greg Gill. Dev, you're allowed to talk sometimes. $5 from the pleb. Gibbs and Rift clearly went to school at the Quality Learning Center due to the sheer stupidity of their arguments. Pisco, let your partners talk.
They need some more leering.
Okay. $10 from B. Trump never stops being a Democrat and is setting the justification and precedent for 100 years the USA as a Nordic model government. Not the hero Gotham wanted, but the hero it needed.
That's an interesting argument. You could say, well, no, the Democrats have been more corrupt because Trump is a Democrat. But obviously, he's a registered Republican. He ran on the Republican ticket.
Odd Maidon Productions. The
Good one,
sharpest
Pisco.
arrow in a conservative's quiver is, I actually don't know what that word means, so I assume it means bad for $5. Okay. Oda Shara for $5.
Bad.
Why don't we know who attended Trump's crypto dinner? $5 from Natural Phenomenon.
So some people who go to the dinners, we do know. It just depends which one. There've been so many, and there's so much Mar-a-Lago related corruption too. It's not just the crypto stuff either.
Pondering Politics says, what happened to the last stream? Is it not? I'll look at that. It should still be up. Should still be live. There was a internet interruption that had to. Yeah. Anyway, it was text chat. Okay. $5 from Natural Phenomenon. There is no evidence of undocumented immigrants being sworn into office. They got citizenship before they ran. Trump cultists will lie like crazy. $5 from
When they
Allison.
lie too, it doesn't even further their point because the examples they brought up weren't sanctuary city regimes or were like not what they claimed that it was.
We're so close to the end here. Okay. $5 from Alice Ness. The Iowa school board was not election fraud. You don't elect a superintendent. They are hired administratively. They need to lie to get to a point. Some school boards operate differently than others. I don't know.
Maybe this is the Des Moines superintendent's.
What?
name.
This
I don't
isn't
know.
the superintendent always is an elected
we
position,
did get
no?
into it. I did find the information on it though, and the TLDR of it is that like this guy ended up having an extensive criminal record. He lied about having a master's degree in education. He was rejected for a green card multiple times. He basically spent like 20 or 25 years lying, and he was eventually caught. I don't think this is evidence of democratic corruption here.
$5 from Makia.
Hold on. There were several prominent Democrats in local and the state level that came out and supported it before all the facts came out. So.
Well, that was before the facts
Did they
came
were
out.
victims?
Didn't
Didn't you just say they would be victims?
Well, hold on,
totally
Gibbs.
different.
Gibbs, you said it was
People knew.
before the facts came out, so they didn't
Yeah,
know.
before the
just
facts
said
became
that.
public. Before the facts became public. Maybe
Yeah, they
a better way to
didn't
say
know.
it.
They didn't
However,
know.
however, based off the pattern, pattern recognition thing, this seems like
What-
someone
what
they would have pushed
pattern?
forward. Oh, come on. Like, did we
Look at the standard applied. Look at the standard applied to the
Are you
superintendent
kidding
race.
me? What
And
do you mean?
So
What
look at
pattern?
the standard. Look at the standard applied by Gibbs.
Yeah,
to the
I
superintendent
had a
race.
standard where
But
I have
let
evidence, and
let
you
me
have
go
only
on.
allegations.
So the standard that you applied in the superintendent case in assuming bad faith, but with Binance, it's like, oh, well, maybe he just really wants to have good crypto.
know.
That's why he had to make $1 billion off this scheme, World Liberty Financial. That's what think about
Okay.
what we could do with our science if he didn't do this.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
hold
not
on,
good.
just real quick. We do have more super chats, but I know that Gibbs needs to go soon to another show. Storm Wolf, Twink here,
Hey, what's up?
did pay me.
Twink.
Yeah,
It's
Twink
a nickname.
It's a
did
solid
pay
name.
me to
Twink?
come and
Thanks.
ask you some questions. So
I
go
did.
ahead, ask your question.
First of all, fuck you, and Streamer Gibbs. Second of all, Gibbs, are you aware of the recent trades that we found out happened? So you remember Liberation Day, we had those tariffs, right? And then on April 9th, the tariffs were relieved. A day before all of Trump's accounts, there were 327 new investments. Some of them were in stuff like steel, which were directly going into like the things that were going to be relieved by the tariffs. Do we think that that was corruption? He artificially brings down stock prices, invests, and then you see a massive boom because he reopens these tariffs. Do we think
mean-
that's corruption?
I would say I need to see more evidence. If that's corruption, then all the insider trading in Congress is also corruption. And there's a real easy solution for this, brother. It's
Wait, stop.
It's called
Is
the
that corruption?
autopilot.
It's a simple question.
Well,
Stop.
look,
It's a
it
simple
depends.
It's a simple
It
question.
depends.
It is
It
corruption?
depends.
Thank you.
Hold
It is
on.
corruption,
It is
right?
corruption.
depends.
But just so you know,
And
Gibbs,
But if you
just
buy
so you
the
know,
autopilot app,
just so you know,
you can-
in
it'll do
1
that for
year,
you.
Trump has
Somebody
made more
bosses
money
do.
on the stock market than Pelosi has in 25.
Base.
Exactly. This is another thing. When we talk about corruption, and Rip kept talking about how the DNC had so much corruption, you're comparing an organization of so many people over so long time, and it still doesn't reach the scale of what Trump has done in like a year and a half. Number two, the Qatar
paid
jet
more
you
than
lied
$500
about
billion
earlier.
in fraud?
You said it's going to his presidential library, and then you said it's
I didn't
saving
say
him
that.
money. Oh, well, it's going to his presidential library. You
No.
know that, right? is going
No,
to
it's gonna be,
presidential library.
one of them's gonna become Air Force One now. It's one of the Air Force.
No,
Ones.
it goes into his presidential library at the end of this term, and then we have to
they're not
refurbish
gonna
Air
use it
Force One
anymore.
again. So we're not gonna be able to use
still,
it. So
that's
we're not
cool.
saving money, and
So
they got
base.
NATO
I mean,
level
they'll use it
protection for it.
anytime.
Wait, Gibbs, you know they got NATO level protection right after that, right?
Yeah, why not? She's been assassinated, attempted like
Qatar,
what,
who funds
3 times now?
Hamas, Qatar, who funds terror
Qatar?
cells across the Middle East.
Would
You
you
think they
support the
deserve
Iran
NATO
war?
protection?
You
Hold on.
support Israel?
Hold on,
You're
hold
like an
on.
Israel guy, right?
I'm really more of the whoever makes me the most money guy, and if we could sell weapons to Hamas,
Yeah, you're corrupt just like your daddy.
Wait,
just like your daddy.
please go, please
What?
go, please go. Can I just grill him on this? First of all, Qatar funds Hamas. Second of all,
Sure.
why are we giving them NATO
It's Qatar,
protection?
by the way. Qatar. Have you ever been to
I don't
Qatar?
give
I've
two-
been to Qatar.
I don't give two shits. I don't give two shits. Answer the fucking question.
Well, I will say this because if you look at our relationship with Qatar, all the way back to Bush Senior, right? Bush Senior was a former CIA head
Oh my
director,
God.
and then there's Texas A&M. Texas A&M has a school there, and where he also has a presidential library in College Station. Why do you think that is? Do you think the former? No, hold on. What does Qatar do for America? That Qatar is basically the guy that we go in there and have them talk to all these countries that hate us, right? They talk to all like Iran. They talk.
They
to
also
all
fund
these
terror
terrorists.
cells. Why would we
Sure.
give them?
Well,
Why would we give them
on-
NATO protection when they're just going to use that to fund further
this is
terror
just
cells?
soft- This is
Number
just
two,
soft power in a
cool.
simple
I don't want to give
USA
soft power to
idea.
people who are actively funding
it's
hard
soft-
power
so-
against
so
us. Number
just
one,
to be clear,
but number two, you
I
acknowledge that they're
I'm
not getting any.
okay with
Wait, stop.
transitional
You
soft
acknowledge.
power, yeah.
Wait, so one, you acknowledge you were wrong by the Air Force One claim. This won't be Air Force One because it goes
guess.
into his
I
presidential
don't-
library, which would be.
Base. I'm okay with that too. I think it's
Cool, but then you fucking lied, number
I'd
one.
rather
Number
burn
two,
it.
there is
I'd
no
rather burn
benefit to the United States. There's only benefit to Trump because he can still use that when it's in his presidential library. The United States government cannot.
Wait, hold on. So they're already in talks to replace Air Force One. They were already in the process of doing it.
It will
right?
end because
not
it's going to his
addressing what
presidential
he's
library at the end of
Was
his
that-
term.
is that true? Hold on. Is that
Kick
true
this
or not?
motherfucker off. Gibbs.
Is that
Just
true?
leave.
Is that
You're
true or
not
not?
worth
I mean,
talking to.
I'm-
Just
I'm-
fucking
Wait, no,
leave.
please go. I want to talk to
I'm
him.
sorry
You
to keep
understand
you- no,
that
I'm
once
just
it goes
saying.
into his presidential library, it can no longer be used as Air Force One, correct?
Well, hold on.
You
I
know
don't
that, right?
So I'm going to need to see evidence of that. But two, I mean, that may be true. I'm not going to dispute that. However,
That's
is it
their
being
plan.
used?
That's
is
their
it-
plan.
Is it
That's
being
their
used in Air
plan.
Force One now?
It doesn't matter because you said it would save us money. It doesn't save us money because
And then
no,
Air
it
Force
doesn't
One was
matter
already
because it's a
being
matter of
refurbished.
protection.
That's a
If
big
it's Trump's
thing.
person.
Okay.
Just leave. Dude.
Okay.
If it's
Gibbs.
Trump's personal, sorry, I'm just gonna finish.
I mean,
If this
listen,
is
I
Trump,
can
wait,
only-
stop,
listen, I
stop,
know
stop,
it's-
stop.
I do want
don't know
you
what
to
you're talking
address
about. You're
Gibbs.
retarded. You stop. If this is going to be used by Trump under this term, which you said would save us money, but then it's going to his presidential library, it doesn't save us money. It is a personal gift to Trump that is then being used in exchange for NATO-level protection. How is that not corruption at an
I mean, it's
unprecedented
not.
level,
We-
unprecedented
we
event?
protect former presidents all the time with like using a service. I don't see this. as
That's
any
not
different
what
than
you're
that.
being. That's not what you're being asked about. Protection. That's not what you're being asked about. What you're asked
With-
about is the
with Cutter
fucking
thing. I already
plane.
used the Cutter thing. I think it's a soft power where you go moving to transactional.
So we got.
soft
Wait, do
power.
you acknowledge that
So
the
Cutter works
corruption?
for us.
You all acknowledge that the protection came after he got the plane that is going to be for his personal use and then retired after this term? If that is true, is that not corruption?
As well as the
Look, this
base.
is
As
3
well as the
years
base.
of
If this
using
is
the
true,
plane,
wait, how about
they're
this?
already
If everything I
replacing
said
the
is
plane?
true, is it corruption? If everything I said is true, is it corruption?
No.
If.
Okay, you're
Okay,
fucking
whatever.
retarded.
Let's
What is
keep.
corruption?
Okay.
Wait,
Wait, fine.
hold
One
on,
last thing.
Gibbs.
One last thing. One last thing.
One last thing,
The
then I
Eric
get to
Adams
research
incident.
it.
The Eric Adams incident. Eric Adams had federal prosecution
What is
coming up.
What is the stun that doesn't like show on your fucking bar? Is there a way to like put a materia in your thing that will give you a debuff resist against this? Like because you're not getting slept, you're not getting stopped. It's just like a stun. Is there a materia against this or no?
Trump said, if you help us with immigration, we'll remove these charges. Is that not corruption? Is that not a dilection of duty to not actually engage in a federal prosecution of one of the most openly corrupt mayors in American
Democratic
history?
mayors. Yeah.
He's Democratic mayor, huh?
Okay, but Trump does a quid pro quo to dismiss those
Yes,
charges,
with
which
the
Biden's
corrupt
admin was
Democratic mayor.
prosecuting.
Yes, with a corrupt Democratic mayor, they do a quid pro quo. Tom Homan is on TV on Fox News. You can see all their black and white. You have Scalia clerks who are working for the Department of Justice, just like lifelong appointees, saying this is corrupt. You have all manner of evidence of this corruption. You have the judge coming out and saying, unfortunately, my hands are tied. I have to dismiss it with prejudice because what they were planning on doing was holding this over Mayor Adams' head to make sure that he was compliant. And you say it's not corruption?
Well, hold on. Let's just look at this real quick. I mean, I'm not too familiar with the case, but let's just say they go all the way through and he's convicted. All right, and then Trump goes, or before we're convicted, Trump goes, you know what? I'm going to give you a pardon for this date to this date. Would you say that's corruption? So if I gave you a pardon for all the
I'll
time
tell
you
you
were
why.
here,
I'll
gave a
tell you
pardon?
why. I'll tell you why, because my notion
Oh,
of corruption,
that's
you haven't
corruption.
explained what you
Okay.
yeah, so I'll tell you why. So if the pardon is done for an improper purpose, that is to say for personal or political gain or to get compliance with a different sovereign using the criminal justice system as opposed to convincing people as opposed to other legitimate means available to him, if he's using his awesome might as head of the Department of Justice, really on his own view of the unitary executive, if he's doing that to extract those purposes, of course it's corruption. On your view, I guess no party can ever be corrupt.
No, well,
Yes, I do.
I would argue that
Yes,
then I'm not
yes,
good.
yes,
Oh,
I
okay,
agree.
cool. That's
So,
what
so
I'm
to be
saying.
honest,
That'd be
you-
cool.
so yes, I agree that the Biden
I
party.
agree, I agree.
No, you agree with that, but you won't
I
grant.
don't
all
agree.
the Trump
I don't
are
agree that it
corrupt.
was corrupt. I think.
Yeah.
Hold on, hold on.
So wait,
Gibbs,
wait,
Gibbs,
I
hold on,
came
please,
up-
please, please,
I came
please,
here
all of
many
you, all of
times
you,
on
all
my
of you.
show, and I said it was not corrupt for him to pardon his son.
Yeah, but
Gibbs,
you can hold on,
crazy.
Gibbs. You understand?
Gibbs,
You understand that when you say
Wait, hold
when
on. Here,
Dev,
I got
please.
something real quick. So Gibbs,
Let me get
show
this
it to you,
out.
okay?
Let me get this out, and then you can go.
Trust me, okay? I'm just going to show it to you, okay? Here, look at read this, Gibbs, okay? The
Yeah, I
Justice
think it's- I
Department
think it's
has
not good.
moved to dismiss corruption charges against New York Mayor Eric Adams, a Democrat, 1 day after Adams agreed to provide ICE access to Rikers Island jail. How is
Yeah,
this
I
not
mean-
corruption?
Well, first of all, they should have been provided the access to the jail.
That's not the question.
That's
Sure.
not how that works either.
Sure.
How is it
Sure,
corruption,
should be.
though?
But two, once again, I want to come back to the pardon thing. I said the Biden thing was not corruption then, and Wick, you can vouch for that. I was here.
Yes, but
So-
can you
so
answer his
Using
question
your
now?
office for-
This, I don't.
Is this corruption?
Yes.
I mean, why is this corruption exactly? If you
Okay,
said-
Dev, explain why it's corruption.
Dismissing
Go through
a
it.
legitimate charge
hold on.
for the sake
Let
of
Dev
getting
do
a
it. Let Dev do
political
it. Let Dev do
gain.
it. Dev,
Well, no,
explain.
Twink here is doing a good job.
Sure.
Okay,
Okay.
please,
So,
please.
have you ever offered? Is a plea deal corruption?
No, not
A plea
necessarily.
deal is
no.
a part of our legal system. This is saying I'm going to
Okay.
dismiss charges that are being brought because you committed a
Conditioned
crime,
on
not because of a
action.
valid legal
Okay.
reason, but because
Okay.
I want a political win. That is
And
corruption. that is
now, can you tell me the fundamental?
Wait, to be
difference-
clear, if you thought the illegal
Yes.
immigration thing was because it was padding the votes is
You
corruption,
don't know
how
what
is
I'm
this
saying.
not corruption? It's for a political benefit that you think is an improper action. The difference
Once
is
again,
Gibbs.
Here's the difference, though. I don't see a fundamental difference between a plea deal and a dismissing charges.
Wait,
in
what
order
do you
to-
get?
hold on,
What would-
Gibbs.
Wait,
Gibbs,
stop,
it's not-
stop. I need to answer this question. What would Trump get if he told his DOJ to offer a plea deal? What is the response you get? A plea deal is just saying, hey, you do this, you get a
Plead
minimal
guilty in
sentence.
exchange
You're
for
not
this sentence.
exactly
No
one,
contest.
so you still get the guilty charge, which is
no
important.
contest.
But
No
two,
contest.
wait, first of all, you still get the guilty charge. Secondly, you don't get a benefit. You don't get like some reward as the DOJ or the government.
And
The government is getting a
here's-
reward from this.
Here's the point. Wait. And here's you ask like, what makes this different than like a plea bargain where
Plea
you're
deals are in the service of
giving
justice,
testimony to some
too.
other people, right? Or you're giving some other benefit and you're
Or
solving another crime. Let's say.
access,
This is
or
the difference, right?
informing.
Eric Adams' authority
Deporting
as mayor
illegals.
is. Wait, let me answer what you asked the question. Like, how is this any different? I'm telling you, right? Eric Adams' official authority as mayor is not his to bargain for his personal freedom and safety. He holds that position in trust, and anyone in the federal government, including and especially members of the DOJ, would know that. You can't trade away something that's not yours in
Well,
exchange for benefits to yourself. That is the quintessential aspect of corruption that
Yeah.
you seem to be missing.
Hold on. Well, hold on. Here's the difference, though. Trump's job. Here's the guy with the DOJ, and especially Tom Homan. I don't agree. I think that this is not something nice. I think it's kind of gross. However, I don't think it rises to corruption because one, Trump's duty to the American people that voted him in is to prosecute immigration, and if this gets him more of that prosecution, then that's going to be him following through. That is not
even if it
corruption.
entails,
that is the Americans' will.
So let's start with Eric Adams. You agree that Eric Adams is corrupt in leveraging his
Eric
authorities
Adams
as
is
mayor? So no. Is that action corrupt? Yes or no?
Yeah, that would be corrupt in Eric Adams' part.
Okay. So that action, so we're building a tower. You just granted that action by Eric Adams. Eric Adams is leveraging his authority in exchange for a personal benefit. Is Trump doing something that necessarily corrupts a city under the jurisdiction of the United States? Is that
No.
corrupt as well?
He's not doing that.
I think the best thing.
Let me finish it. Asking a mayor to do something that you know to be corrupt is not corrupt. Why?
Yeah, because it's a similar precedent to like having the IRS collect taxes from drug dealers. Yeah, because you undeclare thing, you know it's from criminal activity.
I think the best thing to do is just go through corruption examples and to show how insane their standard is. I mean, like, this is the most obvious
least
level of
have a
corruption in
standard.
any admin. Shut the fuck
If
up.
that's
You don't
not
care about
corrupt,
any of this.
nothing's
This
corrupt,
is the most
man.
le-
Like, if
obvious
that's not
level of
corrupt,
corruption
nothing
you've
is
ever seen
corrupt.
from any
I mean,
admin.
this is the problem,
Gibbs, you
this
don't
is the
give
problem.
two shits about corruption. You don't care about
Sure.
DNC
I mean,
corruption.
that's-
You
just
bitch
said
about
asking
policy
the
issues.
president
By the way,
asking-
you bitch about policy failures as an example of corruption, and then when someone's doing a
It is
quid
exactly.
pro quo deal, when someone's doing like
implement
literally
policy.
insider trading, here we
But the
brag
American
about his
people
son
voted
doing
for it.
insider
First of all,
trading, right? You probably don't know shit about that.
First of all, they did indicate they were going to change the policy. But second of all, you just said that the president asking
got
for
3
corruption
minutes.
isn't. You said the president asking for corruption isn't itself corrupt. How can that possibly be? How can
Well,
it be
the-
that the
the
president's
US
asking
government
for it?
works-
He knows.
But the U.S. government works with corrupt people all the time to accomplish political goals. Like we do it foreign
Do they tell them they can go
overseas, we do it
scot
here.
free? Do people
We
usually go
yes,
scot
all the
free?
time they do this. All the time they do this.
But if they do it for
wait, wait,
personal gain, is that bad?
Listen,
Like, let's say the DOJ. Wait, let's say a district attorney says, "I'm going to offer you a plea deal." Let's say a district attorney says, "I'm going to offer you a plea deal so you campaign for me." Let's say a district attorney says, "I'm going to offer you a plea deal so you campaign for me." Would that be corrupt? Wait, answer that question. Would that be corrupt? Would that be corrupt? Hey, Gibbs. Would that be corrupt?
Would that be corrupt? That's
Let's
my
say
question.
a district attorney offers
How
a
did
plea
he
deal
die?
and in return says, "You plead guilty and you better go campaign for me." Would that be
Sure,
corrupt?
that's correct.
Oh my god.
Okay. At least we have some standard. Do you think offering a plea deal to get unauthorized access to Rikers Island would be corrupt?
No, because once again, this is not for the y'all keep putting
It's
this
so
forward.
retarded.
Because no, there's a
It's so
difference.
retarded.
There's a difference. Hold on. This is your standard you just put forward. Personal gain. Okay. The
Yes,
argument
Trump
that I
got
make-
personal
okay.
gain from it. He got to
Okay, hold
enforce
on.
his immigration policy.
Okay,
He would not have been able to do otherwise.
Hold on. Actually, thank you for proving my point. That is not personal gain. That
Yes, it
actually
is. It is a political
this is-
personal
no,
gain.
hold
He
on.
did not have the authority to get Rikers Island
Hold on,
absent
hold
it.
on,
So
hold
he
on.
said,
Do
"I'm
you
going to
agree-
leverage a
hold
charge
on,
against
hold on.
you
I
and
understand
say
that you
you
think
better
this.
do this, or I'm going to these charges are going to
ask you a
continue. But if you
question.
don't do it,
Let
I'm
me
going to
just
do it." That is a
ask you a
definition of a
question.
quid pro quo
Okay.
deal that
No,
are
hold on,
often
hold on.
prohibited because
Y'all-
he's
y'all are
improperly
saying-
carrying out
y'all are
justice.
saying-
He's saying, "I'm not going to bring legitimate charges against you in order so I can get some
Listen, y'all
benefit."
could- here's the thing, and this is where I think we're having the big issue. You're saying him enacting his policy is personal gain,
No, it's
although
the
he made-
methodology. You guys always do
although
this
he
hard thing where
made-
you only look at
no,
the action itself without
no,
looking at the methodology.
no.
You could maybe
I
get
thought you
access to
this.
ICE detention centers legitimately using charges against someone, a mayor, to try and get access to like facilities is almost
That he's
certainly
not allowing
improper
them.
and dereliction
Yeah,
of duty.
I agree. It is.
It's
it is
dereliction of
improper.
duty.
It
It's
is by
dereliction of
the
duty.
mayor, and so we incentivize them to do it to enforce national policy that the American people voted in. That is different than a personal
You're
gain.
defining your way against the policy. So you're defining,
$20.
you're saying, well, because of course anything that Trump does is he believes
got
in
1
the
minute.
best
So one,
interest of
yeah,
the country.
I'm gonna read the ones directed to Gibbs. The super chats directed to
I got 1
Gibbs
minute.
right before you leave. $20 from Eddie Bombay. Trump deregulated vaccines with Operation Warp Speed. High five me through the screen, Gibbs. Okay. $10 from Eddie Bombay. Trump deregulated use of glyphosate on crops. Gibbs, high five again, buddy.
Yeah, there you go. Isn't that a high five? Actually, that's
Okay.
a good thing. But
And let me see. Are there any more?
I feel like that's something I'm uniquely qualified for.
I'm looking. I hope I
Real
don't
quick,
miss
Gibbs,
any.
Gibbs, did you just argue for Qatari soft power when you spent last week's debate with me arguing against USA soft power?
That was the
It was
joke.
crazy.
That was
So-
the
no,
joke.
no,
Okay.
but
That was
it's
a joke? Okay.
Okay,
do you
so
think
this has been a
so
joke?
when America plays both sides of the war on terror, you think that's a joke, and that's just like whatever.
Like,
No,
it's
I don't
funny to
think
be
that's
like,
a joke.
I
I
think
don't
we
think
should
that's
have
a joke.
I think we should give NATO protection to a
Two
country
things to
that's
be true.
funding terror attacks against us and our allies. It's a wild statement.
Well, hold on. The problem is, I think what Trump has done is move towards more of a Don Rowe style.
We got
doctrine
one
where
more.
He wants to do
Stop. This is a made-up term that means
We got one
nothing.
more
The
for you,
policy
Gibbs.
changes with
Well,
vibes.
if
One
you
more
just
for you,
check
Gibbs.
out my
One more.
video
They
on
paid me
Trump,
money,
approaches
and I don't want to
Trump.
be corrupt.
would never
I don't want to
offer
be
you any
corrupt.
views.
I don't want to defraud my super chatters. Okay, they paid me money to ask you this question. Would the pro-Trump side of this panel admit that Trump is the most corrupt individual in all USA political history in terms of financial gain, if not the entire DNC, or no?
Yeah, I wouldn't admit that. I'm supposed to go with Ulysses S. Grant, most corrupt, but that's okay. Yeah.
Gibbs, I know you have to go.
Yeah, I do. Also, and if you want to hear more about the Don Rowe Doctrine, I just did a video. It's very interesting. We have a PowerPoint and everything explaining Fortress America, the Don Rowe Doctrine. Check it out. It's on Admiral Gibbs on YouTube. All right. Thanks for having me, guys. It was very fun. I'm going to go do a watch party for the social.
Bye-bye.
Peace out.
Okay, I'm going to
wait,
read the
can I
rest of
make
these super
one-
chats.
Can I
That,
make one quick ask of you? One quick ask.
dude,
Of you.
that guy has to drop like a mumble rap album or something.
One quick ask of you, Wick. For these panels in the future, you need to define terms like corruption ahead of time.
They'll just change it. Like I've tried to do that. People
Does it not
ignore
work?
the definition.
Okay. Okay.
They don't.
I thought
it
I
just-
suggested
it doesn't
No,
matter.
that's fair. You have more experience. I thought I
Right?
really
It
suggested
doesn't matter. Like you'll get them to agree to a definition, and then they'll bring up another one when you get into the actual thing.
Or
It
they'll
just
just
doesn't-
refuse to engage.
Yeah.
If you try to clarify your semantics. So like I try to do that with Ryan on clarifying semantics, and he's just like, whatever you think it means. It's like okay, it's pointless.
It's just
They're
it's
obviously
insane to have
bad
like
for tax.
policy like failure, and I know
I agree.
him because I hang out
You're
on the
right.
server. I knew he was gonna do like immigration as a corruption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I have. No, you're not wrong about that. They just like they don't.
Yeah.
They're not honest, and so they don't give a fuck.
It is what it is, gang. But I do think that these are useful, and I'll say this as kind of the ending before I read the rest of Super Chats. You guys can leave if you need. I think that these things are useful to see the non-answers, right? To see them obfuscate, to see them dodge, to see them not actually address what is being brought up. I think people who are honest in looking at this can see that kind of behavior, and it does sway them against that. I think when people see someone who is dishonest, unless they're already on the team, it tends to turn them off. And so that's why I think that these are useful, even if you think that, oh, these people just dodged the whole time. I still think it's worth having these kinds of shows.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I know it's frustrating though. I get it.
I also wasn't saying don't host these panels. I just wanted to have more. I was just trying to make a suggestion.
I know,
clarity,
I get it. And we try different things. And like tomorrow we're gonna have Soy Pill versus Deej, and I think that both of those people will have. I think that Deej will engage differently than Gibbs.
I think it'll be fun.
Should be interesting. Tune in for that. What else does everyone else get? Well, Pisco, what do you got coming up? Are you going to LibCon, Pisco? I'm just real curious.
LibCon?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't invited. I have a big trip coming up in a few weeks, but no, I was never invited to LibCon. Bro.
It doesn't, like, yeah, you can just go. Like, you don't have to be invited.
Oh, you can just go. Where is it?
It's in DC.
When is it?
16th and the 17th. It's a bunch of people
really
coming,
soon.
and like you can just go.
I'll see about it. I'll see
Yeah,
about
it's
it. I know
up to
people.
you. I mean, like it'd be nice
Yeah.
to say hi. And
I know
hang
it would be
out.
nice to connect with people. I appreciate everybody. And listen, I get angry and animated at this because, fuck, I love my country. I love, I was really gutted when America lost yesterday against Belgium, and because I just want to see this place succeed. I want to see America be the best, and I get very passionate about it. And so when I see, whether it's in soccer, Trump corruption edging its way in, or when I see our country being like dragged down by these degenerates, it makes me mad. Like the fact that people can come up here and just bald face just say random shit that they either haven't looked into or just like spitball. And at one point it's like, wait, you said something about Oakland, right? And they're just like, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, or they're just lying. It just makes me mad, and it just like brings out my passion. And maybe I yell too much or whatever, or interrupt, but I'm just trying to keep them on track, because if you just let them go, they'll just start talking about every policy and trans stuff. They try to do it. And so there has to be a way to finagle the conversation in a way. And I appreciate, though, Wick, that you're still doing these panels. For me, it's hard to get MAGA people and Trump people to actually engage and to come into debate. I don't know where they are. I'm trying to find them.
Well, one of the problems is that when you do try to force them to answer questions and actually like guide the discussion, they'll claim, "Oh, you're just helping the other side."
Yeah.
And it makes it impossible. Like, they will only go to places
No, I just killed
where
the wrong
they
person. I'm
are
so fucking
able to
retarded.
bully the moderators to doing what they want. And when you don't allow that to happen, you're seen as a biased moderator, and that's a frustrating event. So, yeah,
And I appreciate also Dev. Dev, thank you so much for like doing the fact checks in real time. Those fact checks should have been devastating. They should have detonated in their mind.
Devastating.
they did
and when,
get it?
yeah, but they just move on like nothing happened. Like we just didn't see them implode, and that Dev didn't just like absolutely annihilate them. And then at some point, the streamer guy goes and is like, "I feel like I can have a reasonable conversation with you, Dev. I feel like you've been," and like Dev has just repeated the same question he just asked about evidence for like the 10th time, as though like he hasn't just been crushed.
I was
So their definition of a reasonable
I was
conversation is
actually-
like, one, a polite conversation, and then two, a conversation
Yes.
where you guys are like, it's like agreeing to disagree the entire time, never actually having like a moving and like ideas like, hey, we're wrong.
I'm actually very surprised that Stream Rift even did this, because for a while he had blacklisted me over my political violence take. So I'm surprised he showed up at all. You know?
Yeah, you should rethink that,
he
by the way.
blacklisted
You
you?
should rethink that, by the way.
Nah. I'm good.
Interesting. Well, to be clear,
No,
I invited him, like, so I guess a little behind the scenes things. Pondering Politics asked me to set up a debate on this topic, right? And he wanted to see Pisco or Dev and Pisco, or Dev and I forget the other one he suggested. But he wanted to see those people. Oh, Dev and Destiny, one of those two, right? And he wanted to see them versus MAGA's strongest soldiers. So I tried to get Rob. I tried to get what's his face, Ryan. I tried to get a few others, but yeah, they just again.